Hi, today what I wanted to talk to you about is traveling with your dog and being a good doggy ambassador. Hi, today what I want to talk about is traveling with your dog and being a good doggy ambassador. So hitting the open road with Dexter, we know, is one of my favorite pastimes to do. If you don't know, I'm a professional dog trainer by trade. I've been doing it for over 20 years, and the beginning of my career I actually trained service dogs. So seeing dogs out in public and their owners not being polite or appropriate really kind of burns my britches. So today I wanted to kind of go over some things so that you can be a good doggy ambassador, and what are some of the things that you can do to help make places be a little more dog friendly, because I totally understand why some places say nope, no dogs allowed, because some people just ruin it for the rest of us. So I don't want you to be one of those people. I want you to be one of those good doggy ambassadors. So the first thing you should really think about, is it something that your dog's going to enjoy to do? So your dog may like going out and about and hanging out with you and going to the local park and stuff, but maybe being in downtown Chicago or in a busy restaurant, you know, when they're really close to other people walking past and trying to stay in a tight little spot, maybe that's not something your dog would really appreciate. Or maybe you're thinking, wow, I found that great dog-friendly boat ride, but maybe your dog gets a little motion sickness. If they get car sick, maybe a boat ride, they might have an issue as well. So you want to really take a good look at your dog's behavior and their history, and is it a real activity that they would actually enjoy? And if not, rethink taking your dog. Maybe that's an activity that you do without your dog. Maybe you schedule that vacation and they get to stay home with their favorite pet sitter or grandma, or maybe during that exploration they stay at the cabin in their crate while you're gone for a couple hours. So you want to make sure that it's something that your dog's really going to enjoy and really going to appreciate, and not be too scared or too nervous or too sick. The next thing you want to also think about is your dog appropriate for that activity? So thinking about maybe an outside restaurant. Is your dog well behaved? Does he walk well on a leash? Will he easily lie down at your feet and be quiet, versus sitting up on the table trying to eat all your food, or a little nervous again about being too close to the servers walking past? Is your dog and people friendly? Strangers especially, you know, we can't be out in public, especially when you're in close proximity with other people and other dogs, if your dog has an issue with that. If so, we want to make sure that we're addressing that issue prior to that big adventure by seeking a good qualified dog trainer or behaviorist. If you need help with that, obviously I do phone consults as well, but I can also refer you to someone, you know, that can help you out. So you want to make sure that it's something that your dog can do and be appropriate at, and be a safe ambassador. Also think about his leash skills. Are you going to be walking in a tight spot with other people and other dogs? Are you in a little museum and he's pulling at the end of the leash, jumping around? Maybe it's in a dog-friendly store that has lots of glass or breakables and might be a little tight. Is he going to be polite on that leash, or is he going to be running around? Because you want to make sure that your dog is appropriate and, again, showcasing a good doggy ambassador. And if you need tips on teaching your dog some of these appropriate behaviors, like walking on a leash, stay, down, watch, paying attention, leave it, there will be links below to some of my dog training articles and videos to help get you started. When you're out and about, although I love dogs, I don't love or appreciate a dog and their owner that rushes up to me and Dexter and comes to say hello without that first request and invite by myself. So if I'm sitting there or going for a walk and all of a sudden your dog comes to me without us saying, hey, can I say hi to your dog? I'm not going to be very happy. You haven't asked my permission for your dog to invade my space. So you want to make sure that your dog's not out saying hello to everybody without that permission first. I remember it wasn't too long ago, I think last spring, we were at an outside cafe, and Dexter and his best friend Levi and his mom Chris, and we were sitting there at the tables. Our dogs were down at the ground below our tables, resting, just hanging out, and this other dog, which was about 3 tables away, had an extendy leash, and the owners were sitting there at the table with the dog having the extendy leash all the way up to our table, to others people's tables, people that were trying to eat, clueless. Now that's obviously a pretty, I think, an extreme example, but I've actually seen it happen more than once. So we want to make sure that your dogs are with you. Dump the extended leashes when you're on places like that and go for a regular 4, 5, or 6 foot leash that's not going to have that ability. Even when Dexter's by my feet, even though he would have a 6 foot leash, when he's down there, I'm giving him 2 or 3 feet. Basically, he has enough footage to lay down by my feet, not to go say hello to other people. And I'm holding on to that leash, or it's wrapped around my legs. We want to be very aware of our dogs and where they're at all times, and making sure that they're not a nuisance to somebody else. And don't forget to pick up after your dog, whether that be at a restaurant and they give you a nice water bowl for your dog to drink, or maybe a little plate of food. Pick up that bowl and plate and put it on the table so that they can bus it. Don't expect them to have to come down and clean it up. Make it easier for them. We want to be easy on our servers and waitresses. You also want to make sure that you're picking up your dog's poo. Make sure every time you're out and about with your dog, bags go with you. Enough bags. When Dexter and I go for a few hour adventure, I have at least 1 full roll of poop bags, which means I at least have 20 bags. That's 20 poops, and it's unlikely that he's going to do 20 poops in one outing, but boy, just in case, I have those extra bags. And I've been known to see other people and their dogs taking a nice little poo, not picking it up, and I go over to them and hand them a bag and say, here you go, you can pick up your dog's poop. So make sure you're picking up your dog's poop. That's huge. That's one of the reasons I believe that a lot of dogs aren't allowed in certain places like beaches and some parks and outside attractions that we may think, wow, why can't a dog come here? We leave our messes behind, so make sure we pick up those dogs' poops. The other thing about keeping your dog with you, if you are, say, at a beach or a park, we want to make sure that we're following the rules of that destination. So if that beach is an on-leash dog park, keep them on leash. Follow that rule. Again, if we're breaking these rules, then we are showing that we are not responsible dog owners, and we're going to get less opportunities. So if you think your dog should go to a dog beach that's off leash, look for a dog beach that's off leash. If you can't find a dog beach that's off leash in your area, find another beach, or make compromises. Keep them on their leash. Find other ways and other places to take them off leash if that's what you want to do. When you're at those places, even an off-leash dog park or an off-leash beach, again, pay attention to your dog. Try to keep them with you. Try to make sure that they're not being a nuisance. And if you're walking that beach and it is a leashed dog beach and you are leashed and you see another dog, same thing. Don't just rush up to them to say hello. Ask first. Ask about 5 feet away. Okay, can they say hi? If you get the green flag, then great. If not, you get to move along. Pay attention to your dog. When you're out with your dog, kind of like when you're out with your children, you should know what they're doing. What are they looking at? What are they sniffing? Where are they at? So you're not like, oh wow, my dog just jumped up on that table next to me. No, we want to make sure they're right there with you, knowing what it is that they're doing. Again, if you don't have the ability, or you're in a place that you find yourself a little distracted, don't take the dog. If you want to sightsee and do something and your dog may need a little more attention from you, you may be a little more snoopy pants, then maybe you try to go without him. Again, when you're with your dog, you need to know that he's there and you need to be responsible and pay attention to him. When you leave a place that allows dogs, especially if it's like an indoor attraction or an outside thing that has an entrance and somebody that takes your fees, or a cafe or restaurant, thank your host. Tell them how much you appreciate that they allowed you to take your dog. And you can do one even better. Send a quick email. Send a nice little note to the person that owns the establishment or who runs it. Let them know that you had a great time with your dog and you really appreciate that they allowed you and your dog to go in there together. When all is said and done, it's important to always remember that you and your dog are a team, and we want to be a good team, and you want to pay attention to your other team member. So know what he's doing, make sure he's hanging out with you, make sure it's a place that he wants to be at, make sure he's appropriate and not a nuisance. Any establishment has the right to ask you to leave if your dog or you are being a problem or an annoyance. Even when I train service dogs, just because they were a service dog doesn't mean that if they're ill-mannered, they can stay. If an establishment can ask a service dog team to leave if they're ill-mannered, you better bet that they have the right to ask you to leave with your pet dog too. So you want to make sure, again, that you guys are being appropriate, being polite, and grateful that they open the doors for our dogs. So have fun, go on those fun doggy adventures, but be polite and be well-mannered. Feel free to leave any comments below for Dexter and me. We love reading everything that you guys have to say. Anything that you guys can suggest or add to this video, feel free. And don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notifications. And most importantly, remember to pause and enjoy life. We'll see you next week. Each Wednesday, Dexter and I will put on new travel content, so don't forget to hit the subscribe and click the bell, and we will see you Wednesday.